I don't know if you guys have seen this video. It's annoying the shit out of me. I watched it and I wasn't happy. I was annoyed. I almost vomited in my own mouth. I was like, whoa. These white girls doing the Afro beat shit. I was like, I knew this shit was coming. There's a lot of videos of white girls doing Afro shit. Please stop. Just fucking stop. I'm not saying we can't share culture. That's what's going to be in the comments. What is wrong with sharing? Nah, don't give me that shit. There's nothing wrong with sharing culture. The problem with Africans, African Americans, Caribbeans is that we share too much culture, and look at where it's got us. It's almost like an apology thing. Look at us. We're doing your routine. It's not coming from an apology thing. It's coming from you think black people are a goddamn amusement park. Everything always is chalked up to a fucking dance routine. Some kind of pop locking or drum beating and shit. We're supposed to be...
Now, as far as I know, Godfrey is Nigerian. I believe he's Nigerian American, and he's always been an advocate for black Americans. So I have no issue with him. However, I think what I'm noticing, and maybe he knows about the whole issue, I'm not going to even bring it up again, but y'all know what has happened. Maybe this is a moment for him to say, we all black, we all together, we all this. I'm going to show you a clip that I took from something that was talking about the apartheid in South Africa.
In the 1600s, first Dutch and later British settlers colonized the nation, displacing local populations from their ancestral lands. Over the following centuries, black Africans were segregated onto so-called native reserves. And by the 20th century, that meant 70% of the population was living on roughly 13% of the country's land. Deprived of their traditional livelihoods and seeking to escape these overpopulated regions, black Africans began migrating to white-controlled areas. There, they worked for low wages on white-owned farms and mines, alongside the descendants of enslaved and indentured workers from across Africa and Asia. By 1948, this exploited labor force was a primary driver of South Africa's booming economy. But economists argued that continued growth required a stable, educated, and urbanized African labor force.
That was just a little clip. It's online, right? Here's the screenshot so you can find the video. I just wanted you guys to see that and check that video out because it's very interesting and it's very enlightening, because some of the things that happened to South Africans in the apartheid is very similar to some of the things that happened to black Americans during slave trade, during the Jim Crow era, that whole thing. And so with knowing that, with seeing the similarities, it's different, but it's similar. It is very interesting that now we're sitting there having this conversation about, oh, this is crazy. This is not celebration. And even in the comments on that video, they're like, oh, yeah, this is awful. Oh, my goodness, we don't appreciate this. And I'm just kind of like, well, when we were told, and the different things that have happened recently, but also stuff that has been happening for a while now with these conversations, it needs to be this sentiment of, oh my goodness, I can't believe that this is happening. Oh my goodness, I can't. But well, I can believe it because that's history, and I'm sure they can believe it because they still have segregation in South Africa. Now, it is not completely how it used to be, but there is still segregation. There are still white-only towns. There is still certain things that have been put in place to make sure that only white people stay in certain areas and only black people can stay in certain areas. And so as a black American, I can only sit there and say, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying it's not our fight. Now, again, Godfrey is Nigerian American. He can sit there and say whatever he wants to say about other fellow Africans. That's him. That's his deal, period. And as we've seen in recent events, they like to come together to go against certain groups of people, right? And so the white people say they do something, again, the way it works in Africa, if you are somebody who's white and you're in South Africa, you're still an African. If you're somebody black, you're still an African. That's how Africans see it. So for all I can tell, all I see is just a white African doing an African dance. What's the problem?